It's all good, magic, mysticism, and earth medicine. Check us out by visiting www.magicandmedicine.blogspot.com. I'm your host, Dr. Candace Nadine Green.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2020, a new year, new beginning. So I'm just going to ramble a few minutes. So 2019 had been such an interesting year for me. First off, I've decided to come out of the pagan mystic closet and announce to the world that I truly am a mystic, and I always have been. I tried to put myself into various boxes along the way to try to be normal, but I realized that that just wasn't me, and I just couldn't take it anymore, so I had to just break out. And once I showed everyone who I am and the magic I do, etc., and embrace my abilities as an intuitive and a psychic, it's just been wonderful. I've been connected with like-minded people. The universe has sent me people who needed my help, and it was just, my help was absolutely accurate. I channeled different entities and spirits for them, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So it was the year that I came into my full being as a mystic. And also, this year, I think I was ready. So the goddess Oshun and the horn god Kenunus made themselves known to me during dream. And I've heard about them, but I never knew about them. So when they appeared to me, I was floored. And when they told me the job I needed to do, that the earth needs help, etc., and people need help, I just was so humbled and just so happy. So that was great in 2019. Also in 2019, Spirit told me, again through another dream, I guess that's the best way to have my mind still and let me listen. But I heard in a dream that I wear 3 hats, and because I used to be all over the board doing this, that, the other, and I was like, I have all these things, I got to narrow them down so I can working on the work. So now I tell people I have 3 hats: my artist hat, my author hat, and my mystic hat. And each one of those hats have brought me abundance, in small, but it's a start. I joined, for the author group, I joined the Association of Rhode Island Authors, and I've participated in the shows and sold my books. I've had 5. Well, I have 5 books out currently, but last year, 2019, I wrote 4 of them. 2 adult, 1 young adult, and 2 children's books. In my first book that I did in 2018, we're already at 400 audio copies. And that's not including the paperback copies or the e-book copies. I mean, After the Darkness was my best-selling. It was a hard write, but it's my best-selling book. And I'm really has established myself as a prolific author. So it's just been such a great blessing. And my art, I did my first art show of just my art this past summer of 2019, and it was received so well. I sold so many pieces of my work, and I just loved doing art. I didn't know if it were good or not, but I mean, the way it received, it built my confidence, and now I just keep producing and producing and producing, to the point where this year I have a surprise coming out of some products that are going to have my artwork on it, so it's going to be a surprise. Also, in regard to my mystic, I out of the blue, a woman, I was participating in this art show. I did 2 art shows this summer, but my first one was earlier in the summer, and then the other one was later in the summer, and I did well at both of them. But the woman who signed me up asked me, "Oh, are you a mystic as well? Do you want to do something at our art gallery?" So I did gallery readings, intuitive readings, and the people who went out crying, or the people who went out not, who were just like, "Wow, how did you know that?" Things like that. It was just amazing. Because when I did a vlog, and I talked about it in some of my early episodes. You can go back and look at it, of how my abilities work, my intuitive abilities work, and how I am when I'm in trance. I'm in trance. You can't be talking to me, asking me questions. You just have to listen to what comes out. And it's because I have to keep the connection. That's how I keep it. I see, hear, smell, and feel all of those things. And whatever they tell me, I tell the person, and I might not remember it after. In fact, there's a 90% chance I won't remember afterwards. They let me remember some things, so it can help me build my confidence, and so that I have proof that this works, this really works, and that it's real, and that I'm helping people, and it helps me to keep going. It's encouragement. So that was great as well. And I did my first ever distance intuitive reading, and boy, was it amazing. I mean, the woman, I didn't know stuff that I shouldn't have known I knew. I didn't ask her any questions. I didn't even know her name. I still don't know her name. I just know she registered. I had something on Groupon, and she was one person who bought it. And we did it by Skype, and boom, it was just awesome. So, and then I have a consistent person in Florida, I guess, who read my book, and I speak to her sometimes, she has some sessions as well, and it's just amazing. So I know these were just tips of the iceberg in 2019. So I know in 2020, I had to think a minute, that they'll be awesome, that they are abundant. And I'm just going into 2020, the calendar year 2020, because again, for me, the new year does not begin when the calendar changes. I don't do my reflections then. I do my reflections during the harvest time, as I said in an earlier episode, when I look back on the abundance. But just for the sake of going with the new year of the calendar year, I thought I would give a little talk. Also this year, I turned 44 tomorrow, January 4th. I'm excited about that. The 40s have really been great to me. Last year, we rescued 2 beautiful cats, and they are amazing. We call Alfredo is 4, Vano is 1. I mean, they both came from some terrible conditions, and they were so skinny and sick, and we had to fight for one of them, for Vano, the first one, because someone who worked there already had their eye on them, and he was vomiting a lot, and he was throwing, he was just, but they didn't know why. He needed to be brushed because he had hairballs, and we also gave him this pumpkin stuff mixed with his food, and he started gaining weight, and it's just wonderful. He's a great cat. And Vano, he was left behind. He was abandoned when his owners, sorry, it makes me sad, when his owners were going to move to Florida. They left him, and he was so scrawny and so sick. But he chose us because I took my son, my daughter was in school. My son and I went to go look for it. We're like, well, let's go look at cats. Maybe we'll get a cat. And we walked through, there were a billion. I mean, there had to be like a billion cats in there. It was just awful because they're all in there. They're just overflowing with cats that they have like 4 or 5 in a cage, in a crate thing. It's just awful. So when I kept walking. I was going to go start at the end and then make my way back to the beginning because I wanted to look at all of them. But my son stopped at the midway through and said, "Mommy, we have to get this cat. Look at him. This cat is cool. Look at this cat, Mommy." And I looked at him, and he was right up. Oh my gosh, he's so beautiful. He was right up at the gate, at the crate. And he was kneading and purring. And I said, "This cat wants to come home with us." So we asked to play with him, and we played with him. Oh, he just loved us. He was just up in my arms and the happiest thing, and he was happy. We got him and I think we got him in February. And we got Alfredo in May. He was with 16 other cats in a hoarding situation where they fought for their food. The animal people had come in, and I guess they heard about them or whatever. They came in and told them to straighten up their act, and they took one cat. They took one cat. But they were given 30 days and they didn't. So they came and took all the cats, and they were all skinny and all dirty and all, gross. And they had no names. So the people, they named them all after Italian things or Italian dishes. There was Alfredo, there was pesto, there was carbonara. There were quite a few of them. And we were looking at all of them. We walked and the manager, we said, well, Vano, we just adopted him, but we would like someone who he gets along with, because he's very calm. Vano's very calm. And we saw Alfredo. We looked at a lot of them, but Alfredo, and we picked him up. He jumped right in our arms. She said, you can take him home today if you want. I said, no, we'll come back tomorrow, because we don't have we got to get another thing for him, like another bed and another dish and stuff like that. So we'll come back tomorrow, which we did. And it's been wonderful. They're the cuddliest, most beautiful, happy cats. It's just amazing. And the great thing was, there were 5 kittens and the rest were all, adult cats. This was the rescue place where we went was in a different town. But when we took Alfredo to the vet, which is in our town, right next, in the room next to us, was one of the cats that were rescued with him. And they said, and then when they told us the name, I was like, oh my goodness, that's one. They said, yeah, all of the adult cats are now at our vet. And I said, oh my goodness, someone in town adopted the rest of the adult cats, which is great. And they knew the names because they were all the Italian dishes. They named all 16 cats after Italian dishes. And I believe the kittens were adopted. Kittens get adopted quickly, but I believe they were adopted as well. But I don't know where. But I just know that all the adults went to the town that we're in. It was just went to some wonderful home in the town that we're in, and that's just amazing. So that they've been such a great thing for us. They've contributed to a calm, serene mood. They are love bugs. They love everyone in our house, and everyone has just fallen in love. My husband is a cat person, and everyone loves them. They're wonderful. They're awesome, and I adore them. And they sleep with everyone. They're so beautiful. They're indoor cats. We love them. They're healthy, and they're funny. They're so funny. They're part of our family. So 2019 has been great. Oh, another thing. My husband, this is good, but you might not understand why. My husband, for one of my gifts, 2 things that I really, really wanted to make life easier for me was one of those Roombas, but because I threw my back out last year trying to mop. I get obsessed over if you know anything about me, the floors in our house, I can't stand dirt on the floors and everything. And I like them to be clean because we don't wear shoes in our house, and the kids are on the floor in the house. Shoes do not enter the home, except for our big party on July 4th. And that's because it's a big party. And there are some people who raise holy hell about taking their shoes off. So that's why we don't do them. But anyway, so that was just amazing, amazing, amazing. For Christmas, I got a D-Bot, which is sort of a bootleg version of a Roomba, but it's awesome. It mops, it sweeps, and it vacuums. And this is great because I have lower back problems ever since I was in a serious car accident in 2016, and then 2013, and then another time in 2016. 2016, I was knocked unconscious, hit from behind, and 2013, I injured my back permanently. I was parked in a truck that I had, and someone with a bigger truck reverse parked into me, and it was just awful. So lifting heavy things like the vacuum cleaner things is just not good. So I and my back starts hurting when I vacuum, and it's just awful. I have every ointment in the world for my back. Every night I work on stretching it. It's just horrible, but I've learned to deal with it. But this D-Bot has made life so much easier. I just turn it on and let it go, and I don't have to monitor it. I mean, I listen, but I don't have to obsess over my floors because they're being cleaned. And I can use that time to do other stuff, like work on my shows, do my art, work on my writing, things like that, cook. So that's great. And I was so happy because I don't ask for anything, but I wanted that. And then I got wireless headphones so that when everyone's in bed and I can't sleep, I can watch my witchy pagan shows on TV without waking up the house, because I don't want to go downstairs because at night it's cold downstairs and I just don't want to go downstairs. When I'm in the bed, and I want to watch TV and I don't want to wake everyone up in the house. So I put on those Wirehead, and let me tell you, I've been catching up on a whole bunch of stuff. I love learning, and there's a lot of good shows that I like to watch, and I love watching Gaia TV, and I love all the different shows that pique my interest. So I get to watch them, and now I'm happy about that. So that's 2019, and 2019 was great, and I mean it had its highs and lows, but I'm really excited. Also, I'm now that I'm dedicated to working on this show more. I mean, shout out to other fellow podcasters on Podbean. Like, I've been inspired by Hippie Witch, by Weird Web Radio, Fat Feminist Witch, Magic and Mediums. I mean, I follow all of them, and I've been inspired by them because I used to feel very bad about myself. I had this one successful podcast many years ago called The Candidly Candace Show. I mean, it was fabulously successful, and I haven't seen that much success since then. So I'm really going to work on this podcast more and try to do this full time along with my other full-time things of author, mystic, artist, mystic, mom, and wife. So I really am solidified in what I'm doing now, and I don't feel like all over the place. I feel very concentrated and focused and calm. I feel, and my health has been better. I've been doing walks 3 to 4 times a week with my shortcut through. I mentioned this in the coming recording that you're going to hear shortly on this show after I finish blabbing. So I've put that in my schedule. It's a necessity. 3 to 4 times a week. After I drop the kids off from school and have breakfast, boom, I'm out there walking right now. Walking. I walk. I do a 30-minute walk. I have my Fitbit on and I'm going, and I make the same route every day. So that way I don't get off track or anything. And every day I see new and exciting things. The trees also, it's just awesome. So I since I've done that, have been feeling really, really good. Also, in my authors group, I was given the opportunity to be a moderator. I was last at one of the really big events because the previous moderator was sick. And I was on the panel. I was originally just on the panel as an author who would be part of the talk, but along with a few other authors. But they came to me and said, "Would you do it?" And I said, "Okay, sure." Would I moderate? Yeah, and everyone loved it because they could have chosen other people on there, but they said because I had the Reverend in front of my name, maybe she knows what she's doing. And yes, I love the microphone, and I'm not afraid of the microphone is what I should say. Not at all. I'm not afraid to get up in front of people. I do it all the time. It's just second nature. So please help me help you this year. Please support us. We're on Patreon under Magic and Medicine. Please visit our website and make comments or subscribe. And our website is magic with a K and medicine.blogspot.com. All that will be in the show notes. Also, there'll be some affiliate resource links in the show notes. And yes, they're affiliate links because we need help, monetary help, because I can't keep pulling out of my pocket. And that helps us to grow. So, and it just helps us. It helps us to grow. I mean, we all have bills to pay, and I would like to be able to contribute more to the household here at my home, and also help run the show, and be dedicated to helping you. So without further ado, let's listen to this recording that I did about New Year, New Beginnings. We made it to a new year. It's 2020. Hooray, we made it. Now with that comes a lot of anxiety.
fear, and some people don't care. The pagan New Year is already past, and I tend to do my year in reflection during the fall, the harvest time, when I look back upon the things that I have harvested, both spiritually and physically. The actual harvest, crops and things. I am a big gardener, and we have a good-sized garden, and the spring, summer, and early fall, we eat from this garden. It's my favorite thing to do is be in my beautiful garden. Oh my goodness, I'm getting all teary-eyed just thinking about my garden. Yeah, our warm weather in New England is not long, so I enjoy those brief months, but the harvest lasts for a year. I do also grow a lot of herbs, so I cut them and dry them and store them, and I use them in a lot of different things, from healing ointments to seasoning foods to magic spells, and also just to burn sometimes for the aroma and the cleansing of the air. So when I have an abundance, like this year I have an abundance, I sell them and sometimes give them away, but I have to pay bills, so I do sell them, and more of that later. But let's get to the calendar New Year. I'll say like that. The calendar New Year, the year when the rest, those people whose New Year doesn't fall in the rest of the year, take account of what they've been through. So what is a new year? It is a new year, but it's also a time when there are a lot of possibilities available from which you can choose. You are the shaper of this new beginning, your new beginning. The mold is in your hands, and you are able to create and shape your new year as you see fit. There's no predestined new year or what's supposed to be. You have it in your hands to shape and mold as you see fit. You can. So I've found actually this very nice ritual to begin the new year, to mark your new beginning. And this ritual that I'm about to tell you is best done when the moon is waxing between new and full. But before I talk about the ritual, I'm going to discuss some of the important symbols related to this new beginning that you can incorporate into your ritual, into your practice, or into your altar, or whatever sacred space that you have. So I know some of you have seen a picture of a pair of hands holding soil, and growing from this soil in the person's hand is a new seedling. Now, this whole image represents new beginnings, which are shaped by you and by the forces of nature, the sprouted seed. Sun, which the seedling needs. Again, I told you I'm a big-time gardener, so I'm all about nature here. Sun the sun is the source of all light and energy, and causes things to grow, causes these new beginnings, these seedlings to grow. Without sun, nothing grows. Just like, I like to think of us as well as, I like to think of us, we humans here, as plants. And, so again, winter in New England is long. And when we have like a mild day that's 45, people break outside and they're wearing spring jackets, sweaters, and they're just all trying to get that vitamin D from the sun. because it's important. Without sun, we die. Look at Chicago. Chicago has, I think, if not one of, I think it has the highest suicide rate because it's gloomy. And there's a lot of rain and darkness, and people just can't take it, and they go crazy. And that's what happens when you don't have sun. Sun helps life. Okay, and these new beginnings, it helps things grow. What is planted, what you plant, grows when it is tended to with light and, of course, water. Water, if you don't water it, it shrivels up and dies. Okay, sun is important. So cracked eggshells. This picture of cracked eggshells represents your idea, your dream, your vision that has been hatched. It's been, stewing in this shell, and then pop, it cracks open, and it's born. So you're giving birth to your idea, your dream, your vision, and now it must grow. How does it grow? Sun and water. Without that, it will shrivel up and die. Butterflies. Butterflies usually associated with spring, right? We see spring, we're like, oh, butterflies, and they are beautiful. But if you think about it in relation to your new idea here, your idea for the new year, your new beginning, those butterflies represent new life. Okay, they've spent their time in the cocoon, the caterpillar, and all that stuff, and then it's had some time of rest, and boom, it's a butterfly. And there goes your idea, your vision, floating away into the universe to be shared and embraced. So your new beginning, your idea has been planted, cared for, and hatched. And now it's grown, and it is going out into the world to be shared and embraced, because that's what we're supposed to do, right? We have to share it. We don't keep it to ourselves. It's about helping others. Our existence here is to help others. And in return for our helping others, honestly, we are given abundance, whatever we think that abundance is. It can be monetary abundance to help us get more resources so we continue to help people, and so that we can have food and shelter, so that we're healthy enough to help other people. And helping other people can be your children too. It doesn't have to just be strangers. Strangers. You can be growing your children. I have 2 children. We have 2 children, and we're growing them. And at times it was difficult to be able to help other people, but when there weren't babies around in Pampers and stuff, I was, each time they grow, I get more and more free time to help people, and the universe sends people my way, and I help them. So we do get, when we are honestly and truthfully helping others, we get abundance in return, and it can come in various forms. But that is our reward, because we do have to survive here. Help pay our bills or things like that. I remember hearing, actually a long time ago, I guess I want to say in the olden days, whatever that is to you. I'll be 44 tomorrow, so my olden days may be different from some of your olden days. But people who were mystics, seers, witches, medicine doctors, all the same thing basically, just different titles. When they were in communities where they helped people, and people would give them it wasn't really the importance of money back then. It was food. How can I repay you? Food, shelter, things like that. They were actually giving things that were important for their survival, because that was how they were repaid for you helping others, for serving them, preserving their community. And that's the role that we play. Myself as a mystic in this, it's a little difficult in my community. My community is sort of, for the most part, not as open. So people who have come to me have been people from nearby communities or even across the world communities. And I've done things for them via Skype, or I've done intuitive messages via Skype, things like that for people who are across the world or across the country, and whatever comes my way. So now let's get on to this ritual for the new year, new beginning. Now I want to also, back on the symbolism thing, these are some colors that you can incorporate into your ritual somehow, like on the cloth or things you wear or candles, whatever you want there during your ritual. These are some important colors that you may want to incorporate into your new year, new beginning ritual. So we have green, which is the color of new growth, seedlings. Remember I talked about the seedlings, the plant. Gold, yellow, or orange is the color of the sun. It's the energy we need, things to grow, things need sunlight. Brown is Earth's fertility, the soil. Fertility, plant things in the soil and it grows. And then blue, it's the color of the sky, and it also represents calmness or serenity. Now what you'll need for this, now you don't have to use, if you don't have a candle or these color candles, just get what you have. If you don't have a white candle, that's okay. Just the point is the intention. It's the intent that is important, what you intend to do. What you'll need, if you are able to, one white candle, one gold or yellow candle, or both. If you're an orange candle, that will suffice as well. Candle holders, because you don't want to burn down the house, and a lighter or a match. I like lighters, like the long stem ones, because one time I burned my fingernail using matches. I know it's crazy, but it's true. And then when I was using the cigarette lighters, I could never do those. I burned my fingernail on that one too. So then I went to sort of the torch lighters, the ones with the long stems, because that was just easier to me and I wasn't burning any fingernails. So, all right, what you'll need to do for this ritual, light 2 candles and then ask your guides to help you. To help you give birth to your new beginning, to be there right with you. And you have to sincerely mean it. Spend a couple of minutes meditating. It could be 5, it could be 10, just silent. You don't have to focus on anything, just be silent. And you might want to write down your personal affirmation in your journal. A bigger after project is to create a vision board using pictures offline or from magazines or newspapers. That might be something fun to do after your ritual if you want to solidify your new beginning or your idea that you're giving birth to. I love vision board plannings, and then I post it on the wall so to keep me focused, something to look at every day. It's a very, very good idea. So your affirmation, which I am a great person, I am successful, or whatever your affirmation is. I am beautiful, I am perfect the way I am. Repeat your affirmation aloud 7 times. You can solidify your affirmation by adding a bit of creativity, like chanting, singing, drumming, dance, or some other source of musical or artistic accompaniment. All of these, why do I say get creative? But because it helps to give power to your spell. Okay, you got to dance it or drum it or chant it, something creative, so that this spell can be solidified. And when you're done with solidifying your affirmation, thank your guides. Always thank your guides, because it shows your appreciation. Don't you want to be thanked when you do something? They want to be thanked too. And if they ask you to give an offering for them, somewhere, then leave a small offering. Leave a small offering. So you want to thank your guides and any other spirits or deities you called upon for this spell. And then lastly, you want to close your ritual or your circle if you open the circle. Now relax and remain confident and positive that your new beginning will be fruitful and will come to fruition. Now don't stop being doubtful, because that's just like you canceled the entire spell. You got to remain positive. Sometimes, I try to say, when people say, well, I can't do that. So I just say, well, forget about that you asked for a certain thing. Just ask for it and forget about it. And then and when you do that, you'll just start behaving like this is coming true, that it's happening. You'll start behaving in a way that is conducive to your idea, your new beginning coming true. If you don't believe me, try it out. Just don't dwell on it. Okay, you can make it. That's why just having a visual subconsciously, and put it near your work area or whatever. If it's losing weight or whatever, put it near your treadmill or somewhere. And just looking at it every morning, because you're going to look at the wall in your house. You're going to look at it. And subconsciously that'll click. And it'll make all your actions be geared towards making that happen. And I'm telling you, you do that. And then when if you do New Year reflections in the harvest time, or at the end of the December 31st, you go back and think, and you'll see that there has been progress. And it works. I tried it. It works. So that is all I have to say on new beginnings. And just remember not to stress. Remember to try to form a very good relationship with your guides and spirit entities, and take time to meditate. Spend some time in nature. I do walks 3 to 4 times a week. I go on my nature walk, and I have a secret cut through a park, which is absolutely beautiful. The trees and the stream with the turtles, little turtles, and there's sometimes ducks. I haven't seen any frogs in a long time, but it's just beautiful, and I love it, and it gets me. I do it before I start any work of the day, and once that's done, it's just amazing how my day becomes. I'm very productive, and I feel good about myself. So when I go at the end of the day to thank spirit, to reflect, I feel good. Small steps. You can do it. So for those of you who celebrate New Year's or participate in New Year's, like January 1st, Happy New Year. And for the rest of you, Happy New Year anyway. Here's to new beginnings.
Thank you for listening to It's All Good, Magic, Mysticism, and Earth Medicine. Visit us anytime at www.magicandmedicine.blogspot.com.